So Jubilee recently posted a video where conservative star Charlie Kirk got to debate a bunch of liberal college students. And then not too long after that, Jubilee posted another video where a liberal college student got to debate a bunch of conservatives. And that liberal college student happened to be Dean Withers. Now, if you don't know who Dean Withers is, I envy you. Dean is a part of the group consisting of Harry Sisson, Parker, and Chris, and if you still don't know who the hell I'm talking about, essentially all you have to know is it's a group of like 19-year-olds who get paid by pallet management, who's funded by the DNC, so essentially they're just bought and paid for mouthpieces. And all they do is sit on TikTok all day long and debate people with a script that their handlers gave them. However, during Dean's debate on Jubilee, he made the claim that Donald Trump is a racist and then listed his reasons for believing so. So, we're going to debunk those. Now, the first claim of his I've already debunked before, but you know what? Let's do it again. His claim was Donald Trump was not renting to black people in the 70s. So here's what really happened. In 1973, the Trump Management Corporation was sued by the Civil Rights Division after they filed a lawsuit alleging that Puerto Rican and black people applying for apartments were systematically excluded. The Trumps then responded with a $100 million countersuit accusing the government of defamation. Donald Trump responded to the allegations immediately, telling reporters, quote, "These allegations are absolutely false. We've never discriminated and never would. There have been a number of local actions taken against us, and we've won them all. We proved in court that we did not discriminate." The accounts of discrimination appear to have originated with the National Urban League, which relayed information to the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Some of the complaints being barely legible, and many of them being heavily redacted. Donald Trump denied any racial discrimination, but said, quote, "My manager tried to weed out certain kinds of tenants. What we didn't do was rent to welfare cases, whether white or black," Trump wrote in a 1987 book. Ultimately, in 1975, the Trumps entered a consent decree settling the litigation. The agreement contained no admission of wrongdoing, but required the Trump firm to institute a series of safeguards to let everybody know that these apartments were available to everyone regardless of race or sex. Trump vehemently defended himself even after the case was settled, letting everybody know that, quote, "This agreement with the government does not constitute an admission of guilt." Now, one of the examples of evidence used by the media is not really evidence at all, it's just anecdotal evidence, in which, in 1963, Maxine Brown applied for an apartment owned by Fred Trump. Brown's application was taken by rental agent Stanley Leibowitz, who said he talked to his boss, Fred Trump. I asked him what to do, and he says, "Take the application, put it in the drawer, and leave it there." Leibowitz went on to say that there's no doubt in his mind that she didn't get the apartment because she's black, and that Donald Trump knew that. Well, here's the funny part. In 1963, Donald Trump would have been 17 years old. So even if these claims were true, and again, there's no evidence to support that, the guilt could not be placed at a teenage Donald Trump's feet. Bottom line is, there's no evidence to support these claims. Next. The next claim Dean makes is that the birther movement was racist. Okay, so let's start from the beginning then. Obama's father was a senior governmental economist in Kenya. His brother Malik, his sister Alma, his brother George, his brother Abo, his brother Bernard, his brother David, and his brother Mark were all born in Kenya. In fact, the only one of Obama's siblings that was not born in Kenya was born in Indonesia. So it is not a crazy or racist assertion to believe that it is in the realm of possibility Obama could have been born in Kenya as well. But in 1991, a promotional booklet did list Obama as having been born in Kenya. This was a mistake and was later redacted, but by that point the damage had been done. Then during the heated 2008 Democratic primary between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, the rumors began to resurface. It is worth noting, though, that there is no proof that Hillary Clinton nor her campaign promoted this. However, her followers pushed this hard. After many inquiries from reporters, the Obama campaign launched a website called Fight the Smears to address all of these rumors. The website posted a copy of his certification of live birth, which is not the same as a birth certificate. So again, he wasn't really helping himself here and just kind of adding more fuel to the fire of these rumors. Then in February of 2011, Donald Trump got on board this theory and said that he had doubts and concerns as well. And by April of 2011, Obama released the long-form birth certificate after years of conspiracy. Now, I've debated Dean on this topic before, and I've asked him to explain to me why it's racist to inquire about where somebody was born. To which he said, it's racist because it's implying that a black man can't do the same things as a white man, and a black man can't be president. What?
Even though Donald Trump didn't start the birther movement, the fact that he partook in it makes him racist as well. And yeah, it absolutely is racist to say that a black man should have less opportunity because he's black.
To which I asked him who explicitly ever made that claim. He then did what he always does when pressed. He muted my mic and began to peddle his unproven nonsense. Literally no one made that claim. No.
Yeah, so they did make that claim. Like, that was the whole point of the birther movement. Was
So
to
they said
instantiate that because
explicitly.
Barack Obama,
They said explicitly.
So that was the claim. The whole point was
Yep.
to instantiate that Barack Obama shouldn't be able to run for president because he was born in Kenya, not born in the U.S. And what my claim would be, well, the reason they said he was born in Kenya was because he's black.
I then asked Dean that if Donald Trump was such a racist, then how come he endorsed Jesse Jackson for president in 1984 and in 1988? To which he said, not the case at all, because Donald Trump was an avid supporter of Jesse Jackson running for president back in the 80s. So if he was such a racist, and it was only because Obama's a black man that he didn't want him to be president, why endorse Jackson? Answer me that one.
This screams I got black friends. That is what that screams.
Exactly, because that's fucking bullshit. So after that insane, asinine fucking response, I asked Dean to give me the definition of racism. I pointed out to him that if you label everything racist, then it loses all of its meaning, and if that's the case, then everything's fucking racist. To which he said,
Obama saying that he
what
should
is
be
the
able to
definition of
run for
racist?
president because
What
he's
is the
black.
definition of a racist?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'd personally uphold a systemic view, like referencing systems of power in which would
No,
disproportionately
we're not
affect-
talking about systemic racism. What is the definition of a racist?
Okay, so I was telling you how I define racism.
No, I am not asking for your goddamn definition. I'm asking you to give me the definition.
Are you implying that there exists objective definitions of term? You
Dude,
dimwit?
stop with the red herrings. What
How do you
is
think
the
language?
definition of
How do you
a
think
racist?
language works? Oh my God! Listen, I'm trying to explain that to you. Will you learn a thing or two? Are you capable of that? I don't know. We'll figure it out though.
Sure, why
So
not? Go ahead,
I think
Cupcake.
I think
Go ahead,
we
Scamp.
first. So Pookie, we first need to start off with a little bit of a lesson in literature. So
Okay.
language is a tool in which has been developed by humans to convey propositions from one to another, right? It's used for social utility and maximization of communication, okay? And then second of all, when we're referencing how we define terms, it's how we'd interpersonally define them. See, I may define racism in one way, you may define racism in another way. I could give you my definition of racism, or you could give me yours.
Okay, so can I just
My
ask you a question
definition of
then?
racism
Does this
would
essentially mean
uphold a
that you're picking your own definition
Yvette, thank
of
you for the
racism?
$10 of Venmo. I appreciate you for the love. Put him in his place. I appreciate you for the love. Thank you so much, Yvette.
Are you picking your own personal definition of racism? Because if that's the case, then you're just moving the goalposts, and by that logic, then everything's
That's what
fucking
everyone
racist.
does. Wait, you understand that even like dictionaries, what they'll do is they'll look at how people personally define the terms that they use. They'll take
Jesus
the majority
goddamn
consensus
Christ.
and then they'll put it in a book. How do you think language works? Do you think that objective definitions exist?
See what he did? He did what he does best, which is the same thing that Harry, Chris, and Parker do, which is pivot, get you talking about something else, hope it distracts you and that you forget what you were talking about, and get you arguing something stupid like semantics. It is worth noting, though, that about a minute after that, Dean cut my feed and I was banned from the live, so make of that what you will. Dean's next claim that Donald Trump is a racist is because Donald Trump said, quote, "I didn't know Kamala turned black." Now, Dean tried to use this one on me as well about 2 months prior to his Jubilee debate, so props to him for sticking very close to that script that Palette Management gave him. Now, do I think it's a very stupid talking point of conservatives, of which I am one myself, to focus on such a minute and negligible issue? Absolutely. But is it racist? No. What Donald Trump and the rest of the conservatives are referencing is that for the longest time she's only really embraced her Indian heritage. But it wasn't until recently she started to embrace the black side, and quite offensively, might I add. So they're really just trying to shed some light on the fact that she's a chameleon, and she's going to change her cadence and her accent depending on who she's speaking to, much like this.
Is heard this November, and register to vote at vote.gov. Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that? So, friends, 64 days until the most election of our lives. Go to the clubs and hurt Father Seville.
Yeah.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time. Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters. God helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. No one is alone. We are all in this together. Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November. We're going to beat them in November. Thank you to the sisters and brothers of UAW. I love you back. And I'm like, okay, what's this gonna be? He said, oh yeah, so he could walk in and they were like, hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. As they say, they not like us.
No, they not.
I said to the congressman, I didn't know he could preach like that. Or as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it. Do I see people testifying? Can I get a witness?
And believe me, there's many more examples. We even had somebody as fake as her since Hillary Clinton with her, I don't feel no ways tired.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
And then when she was on the Breakfast Club and she was asked what she carries in her purse.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
I want you to know people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
Dean's final claim that Donald Trump is a racist is because Joe Biden gave more funding to HBCUs than Trump. My fucking head, dude. This is just an absurd, asinine, and deeply flawed reason to believe somebody is a racist. Now, just ask yourself, if Donald Trump was really this evil, dictator, racist son of a bitch that everybody makes him out to be, do you really think he would give any funding at all to anything that has to do with a black person whatsoever? Probably not, right? Okay. Donald Trump did so many things before presidency and during his presidency for the black community. However, yes, Dean is correct here. The Biden administration did give more funding to HBCUs than the Trump administration. In December 2019, Trump signed the Future Act, which permanently allocated $255 million in annual funding to HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions. This legislation aimed to simplify the process for HBCUs to access federal funding. His administration also highlighted efforts to support HBCUs through increased federal support and initiatives focused on enhancing their sustainability. Joe Biden's administration has also sought to increase funding for HBCUs. In March of 2021, Biden proposed a budget that included a $5.8 billion allocation for HBCUs. The American Rescue Plan, passed in March of 21, included nearly $2.7 billion in emergency funding for HBCUs to help them recover from the impacts of COVID-19. I do think it is worth noting, though, that if the pandemic hadn't come along, this funding might not have occurred at all. Also, funding levels can vary year by year and depend on multiple different factors, including federal budget, legislative priorities, and economic context. And the last thing I want to point out to all of you is something that I found kind of funny, and I'm sure most of you will as well. He goes on to say that he can acknowledge Joe Biden's racist history. Really? So now that he's no longer in the race, you're finally free from your handler's directives to never trash the Democratic candidate. Because you sure as hell wouldn't have uttered the word racist and Joe Biden in the same sentence back in June. So in closing, Harry, Dean, Chris, and Parker, they're all full of shit. So don't just take their word for it. Hell, don't even take my word for it. Do your own research. That is what we all should do. Our own research. Vote accordingly.